All right, everybody, welcome back to Stew with the Stew crew. And you probably remember us from last time. I'm Kat McGee, Representative Kat McGee, and we have Representative Jackie Cretion and Representative Rebecca McWilliams. We left off last time talking about how we saw our roles as public servants, trying to set a reasonable trajectory for the state that helps us economically and helps us also face the realities of climate change and the environmental challenges that are coming as a result of the continued increase in emissions into the air. And so we wanted to start off this time talking about what we have seen to be or have recognized as the priorities in the state of New Hampshire that we feel like we should be working on, and then what the state of those priorities are currently within our committee. So with that, I will.
Yeah, well, I'll go ahead. So obviously we weren't doing quite as much door knocking in this last round of elections as the previous one, but for sure when I first was running in 2018, something that I heard a surprising amount, I wasn't necessarily expecting, but on the doors from people was we need more renewable energy. It's really important to me that we move off of fossil fuels and have more options for doing solar, wind, hydro. And, just making sure that climate change is slowed as much as possible. We have people who find it really important to be able to spend good time outdoors, hiking, skiing, want that to stick around for sure. And then, economics, heard a lot about energy prices, wanted to be able to do more things with energy efficiency. What is the government doing to support energy efficiency, make us use less energy as opposed to just making it cheaper and making the sources different. So those are some priorities that I heard from my constituents and agree with for sure.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think, first of all, when we talk about energy efficiency, it's important to understand that the history of RGGI, the acronym is RGGI, and I don't remember.
Regional Greenhouse Gas Initiative.
There we go. Kat knows. Regional Greenhouse Gas Initiative. Thank you, Kat. So RGGI it's a program that all of the states in New England consigned to, that they're all involved in, but for some reason New Hampshire hasn't been able to fully fund the program. So what we've been doing is on everybody's electric bill, when you receive an electric bill, a small portion of your total use goes to RGGI. But the way New Hampshire's program is set up is that most of that gets refunded right back to you as a residential electric consumer. So we're taking it, we're putting it in a fund, we're administering it, and then we're rebating it back to individual consumers. And that's not really the goal of RGGI. RGGI is supposed to be collecting small sums of money from the population so that larger projects can happen with chunks of cash.
Yeah, it's a funding mechanism. That's how everybody else is using it.
That's how all the other states are doing it. In New Hampshire, we had a bill that passed to basically kneecap RGGI, and we haven't been able to overcome that. That was House Bill 80 during this current session to fully fund RGGI. It got a ITL, inexpedient to legislate recommendation, out of committee. I don't see it passing on the House floor and overturning that ITL recommendation, but we're in a difficult position where we're not as smart fiscally with small sums of money that we could do something big with as our sister states on either side of us.
And it does come down to a difference in philosophy. I think that's, a lot of people want to understand why government isn't working properly or working at all to benefit them. It's slow as molasses and it's on the wrong priorities oftentimes. And I think that bill to reinstate the RGGI funds into programs where it would do the most good is a philosophy that we have on the Democratic side, that we should, create force multipliers by leveraging the little bitty drips into something large so that we can do big things. And we are at a point where we need to do big things. And unfortunately, you know, the philosophy on the other side is we can never have money to do big things. And so there's a push and pull depending on who's in control. And what ends up happening is, as the pendulum swings back and forth between priorities, we go one step forward, two steps back. And there have been a lot of efforts to get out of the Regional Greenhouse Gas Initiative program. And the thing that I think is interesting about that program is that the first hearing that I attended on RGGI was in Representatives Hall. So there were tons of people that came to comment, and only one Republican, who was an incumbent then from Brookline, Jack Flanagan, spoke against it. And his argument was, RGGI's done some good things, but I just think it's time. So he had no argument. He just was told that he needed to get up there and, say no. But what ended up happening was, in that hearing, somebody brought up the point that if the state of New Hampshire leaves the Regional Greenhouse Gas Initiative, we still have to pay into it. So our obligation as a participant does not get, so it's a lose-lose policy. We then do not get $14 million back from or whatever it's going to be. We don't get millions of dollars back from the program, but we continue to have to pay for it. And that is the position of the Republicans at this point, which I think that most people that would hear that would be like, well, why would we do that? Why would we get nothing and have to pay for that privilege? So, that's the kind of thing that constantly makes me shake my head.
I'll say it's frustrating, or it's been frustrating to me in some of our committee meetings to see sort of the evolution of the rationale for things. Sometimes it's like, well, we don't think that this is the role of the legislature to set this. And other times we don't think it's the role of the Public Utilities Commission to rule on this. It should be in the legislature, or just whatever we need to say to basically slow or prevent things from happening, delay or stop movement on this. It's not a logically consistent thing from bill to bill. It's just whatever slows things down.
So do we want?
Am I allowed to go down?
We have many examples, and I know we're trying to make these short little snippets, but
we are at 8 minutes, just so you know.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So we might not want to go on now. The only thing I thought of that we had discussed was the evolution of net metering, and that may be too long of a conversation for now.
Let's do that one next time. Let's do that one next.
Okay. All right.
Because RGGI's great. So that's history of RGGI, and where we're at is we're still stymied. I don't think it's going to change this year.
Right. Okay. Well, I guess that brings us to a conclusion. Jackie, did you have something to say?
No. Just saying, let's wrap up.
All right. Well, thanks again for joining us, and we'll look forward to you next time on our third edition of Stew Crew.